Okay, so our story starts way back in what we'll call the age of Build It. In this era, the marketer wasn't some kind of creative genius sitting in a fancy office. Nope, they were basically an engineer because the product, the thing itself, was king. Just think about it for a second. Back in the early 1900s, pretty much everything was scarce. So if you were the one who could actually mass produce something amazing and affordable, like the Model T, you didn't really need a clever ad campaign. The main challenge wasn't convincing people to buy it was just figuring out how to make it. The act of building it was the marketing.
So, yeah, the whole philosophy was super simple. Focus all your energy on mass production. The product was always the hero of the story. And marketing, its entire job was to basically just put up a flare and say, hey, we made this thing and here's what it is. That's it. Job done.
But of course, what happens when everybody gets good at production? Well, you enter a new era, the age of sell it. All of a sudden, post-war factories are just churning out goods, and the problem isn't supply anymore. It's competition. So the marketer had to evolve fast. They went from being an engineer to a full-on salesman. With all these new products flooding the market, the battleground totally shifted. You couldn't just build it and hope they'd come. No way. You had to go directly to the customer, knock on their door, and actually persuade them. The focus moved from the factory floor right into the consumer's living room. This was the birth of the modern sale as we know it. And you can see that pivot so clearly right here. The scales just tipped completely. Business priorities did a total 180. It went from a laser focus on the product to an obsession with sales and revenue. The sales department, that became the new engine of the whole company. And this, of course, led us straight into the iconic Mad Men era, where persuasion wasn't just a skill, it became a science and an art form. The big idea, the key innovation of this time, was the unique selling proposition, or USP. What was the goal? Simple. Find that one unique hook that makes your product stand out in a massive sea of things that all look kind of the same. But you know how it goes. As the market got even more crowded, just having a unique feature wasn't enough. And this forced the next massive evolution. Marketing had to become a kind of applied psychology. The goal wasn't just to make a sale anymore. It was to win the actual battle for space inside the consumer's head. And the main weapon in this new fight was a concept called positioning. It's basically the art of carving out a unique little spot for your brand, not on a store shelf, but inside someone's mind. It's all about perception. You know, when you think safety, you probably think Volvo. That right there is positioning. In fact, this book, Positioning, The Battle for Your Mind, it literally became the Bible for this whole new way of thinking. The authors made this brilliant argument that in our crazy, over-communicated world, the brands that win are the ones that can own one single powerful idea in our minds. This was a huge conceptual leap. I mean, marketing completely shifted gears from selling what a product does, its features, to selling what a brand means. It was a fundamental change from just making transactions to building real emotional connections. So to win this battle for the mind, marketers developed this whole new toolkit. They started slicing up the market into these targeted little segments. They worked on building brand loyalty through really emotional stories. And they launched these massive global campaigns to really cement their position in our collective consciousness. And then the internet happened. And let me tell you, this was not an evolution. This was a full-blown revolution. Welcome to the digital gold rush, an era that forced the marketer to become a coder, a data analyst, and a digital pioneer, all at the same time. Now, what's so fascinating here is that the pendulum kind of swung back. Suddenly, you had these incredibly disruptive products like the iPod that put technology itself right back in the spotlight. Apple wasn't selling a feeling, not really. They were selling a feature, 1,000 songs in your pocket. The innovation was the message. And at the exact same time, e-commerce just completely shattered the old world of limited shelf space. Suddenly, the shelf was infinite, and you had countless companies all desperately fighting for just one thing, your click. It created this frantic, almost chaotic new marketplace that never, ever sleeps. And in this crazy digital gold rush, a brand new currency emerged, and this one was way more valuable than anything that had come before it. That currency? Data. Every click, every search, every single purchase became a tiny nugget of data. And data was the new gold. Which brings us right up to today, and what can only be described as marketing's full-blown identity crisis. You see, the marketer has become this kind of all-knowing oracle, armed with almost unimaginable power. But they've got a really big problem. I mean, look at this. The modern marketer is part human, part machine, wired into this vast web of information. With AI and these almost godlike tools, they can predict what we're going to do with scary accuracy. But you have to wonder, has all this incredible power come at a price? And here's the central paradox of it all. This obsession with AI and data has led to a really surprising consequence, a serious lack of actual strategy. In this endless race for clicks and conversions, so many companies have lost focus on the hard work of building a lasting brand. And that new gold, our data, is now a massive privacy liability, with all of us fighting to protect it. And if you need proof, here's the smoking gun. Despite having more data than at any point in human history, the failure rate for new products is actually higher today. Think about that. We can target people with terrifying precision, but it seems we're getting worse at actually making things they truly want. Which leaves us with this final, and I think, absolutely crucial question. In our relentless obsession with data, with optimizing every click and analyzing every behavior, have we forgotten the one fundamental truth that drove all the great marketing of the past? That we're supposed to be selling to human beings, not to robots.